Take a moment to think about how you walk, how someone close to you walks. When you're sitting in a room, can you tell it's them walking down the hallway from the sounds of their steps? Do they have a very distinct walking pattern? Maybe they take quick, short strides, or maybe they saunter along a little bit, maybe even have a limp. Did you know that right now there are AI algorithms in the works trying to identify you based on the way that you walk, like facial recognition? The way a person walks can tell us so much about them. Research has shown that it can tell us whether they're happy or sad, their level of confidence. It can even tell us if they're healthy or not. Biomechanics is the study of how people move, like walking. With biomechanics, we can understand why a person walks the way that they do. Do they have certain muscles that are weak, or neuropathy and they've lost feeling at the bottoms of their feet? People walk differently for many, many different reasons, like aging or injury, even disease. Take, for instance, Parkinson's disease. You may have seen a person sort of shuffle along, and that's because their disease affects an area of the brain that coordinates movement. Or peripheral artery disease, which blocks blood flow to the legs, leaving those muscles needing more oxygen. An ACL tear can change how you walk because the knee is now unstable. Aging can change how you walk. Having a fear of falling, not actually falling, can change how you walk. When we walk, no two steps are alike, similar to fingerprints. Our brains have regions that control our movement, like the basal ganglia, the motor cortex, and the cerebellum. These areas are wired closely together so that they can pass signals quickly between one another, allowing you to make an adjustment when you unexpectedly trip on a crack in the sidewalk. There's this Goldilocks moment where your brain has to make some very quick, yet just right, decisions. See, your steps need to be consistent enough to get you going, but different enough to allow you to make an adjustment to a change. Every step we take is different because our brain is adjusting in real time to our environment. Think about walking over loose pebbles or sand where the ground beneath your feet is unstable. Or walking through Times Square where people and things are constantly moving around you. These small changes from step to step give you the flexibility to make those adjustments. If we lack that ability to make those adjustments, that could result in a fall. If our walking is too rigid, we're unable to adapt to our environment because we're walking like a robot, not able to vary our walking pattern. On the other hand, our movements can be too variable or too inconsistent. Again, we're unable to adapt to our environment because we lack control. We end up walking like a drunken undergrad. The amount of variation or rigidity control that we have in our walking can be an indication of our health status. Just like our Goldilocks moment from before, it has to be just right. Too little or too much variability can be an indication of the presence of a disease or injury. Interesting enough, some people may change the way they walk before they show other symptoms of a disease. Research has shown that people may change the way they walk before they show signs of dementia. They begin to walk slower and take shorter steps. Monitoring someone's walking could one day be a diagnostic tool, where a person could undergo a very simple walking test to understand whether or not they've had a change in function. With that information, we can then personalize rehabilitation, or maybe even provide treatment for a disease before they show symptoms. I mean, imagine that, receiving treatment before you're actually showing symptoms. Keeping people walking and moving is critically important. It gives us independence. So much of our quality of life revolves around movement. Our goal then is to keep people moving freely and ensuring they have that Goldilocks of variability. Thank you, everyone.